bleeding me dry like a goddamn vampire. You said it was true love, but wouldn't that be hard? You can't love anyone, cause that would mean you had a heart. I tried to help you out, now I know that I can't, cause how you think's the kind of thing I'll never understand. I've made some real big mistakes, but you make the worst wanna look fine. I should have known it was strange, you only come out at night.
You hoes be tripping.
Hello, very important autism news update. They got everything wrong again. Some work was published a couple years ago that I do not think generated the buzz it deserved because a lot of us read the title and were like, yeah, we knew that already. The research goes into detail about body language and pragmatic language, but this is the juicy part. One study found that autistic people were less inclined towards direct social-based conversation and more likely to go for object-based conversation. What this means is that something a neurotypical person might do as a bid for social connection, hey, nice to meet you, how are you, might feel a little off-putting to us. But ask us if the extra 13 minutes of footage is worth watching the extended edition of The Hobbit, and we might come out of our shell. Or maybe let you into ours. This is huge. This says that the social deficiency we've been labeled with for so long is actually just autistic people, a statistical minority, being tasked with 100% of the burden of assimilation through mastering cross-cultural communication. These findings have some pretty significant implications considering that autism is currently clinically defined as a social communication disorder. So I'm curious if we'll see some changes to the diagnostic criteria. Even if you don't care about the insurance code stuff, this is as good of a reason as any to invite more autistic people into your life. That's what we made Hiki for. Thank you for your time.
Some of us, I don't want to name names, make pretty bad throat noises when they drink. And it makes me think that the throat is
me?
No.
Is it me?
It's not Travis.
Sometimes I feel like being autistic is like finding the balance between various stimulations and finding the right one. And so I made a little list of some paradoxes that I experience. The first one is I love listening to loud music when it's music that I enjoy, but I absolutely hate and can't stand being in loud environments or listening to loud music that I don't like. I love being outside and experiencing the peacefulness of nature, but oftentimes the sun is just too bright and too blinding and too overstimulating. I love human connection. I love feeling connected with other human beings, but I don't know really how to socialize, and I find that socializing can be extremely draining. I like seeing new things, I like experiencing new things, but the thought of a change or when a change comes is absolutely dreadful.
Wow, I need a minute to think about this.
I've recorded this video so many times. This is my third time recording. I'm so pissed off, but let me do it again. I'm an occupational therapist and I work in tertiary level mental health, and I feel like a lot of children who are autistic that come from people that are children of color or come from ethnic minority backgrounds who are not white, I feel like they miss out on finding out that they are autistic. And these kids are generally the ones that are level 1, level 2 autistic, or children who are not explicitly, that are high masking. And I feel like the environment that, parents who are, Muslim or African or Asian or whatever that are non-white, they will have an authoritarian style approach. And I feel like the questions we ask in autism assessments, because I sit on them, I feel like the questions, they kind of gloss over what, the actual answer is. Because, for example, one part of the criteria of finding out you are autistic is, restrictive repetitive behaviors. And because if you are, within an environment that is authoritarian, authoritarian, usually you would suppress your stimulatory behaviors. You would suppress your sensory preferences. You would suppress, things that would make you stand out, such as I would ask, do they struggle with showering? Do they struggle with wearing socks? Do they, vocal stim or things like that, right? Obviously wouldn't ask vocal stim, but would he, does he have a repetitive word that they use, or oh my god. And those kind of questions, the parents would answer, no, he doesn't struggle with showering. No, he wears socks because I tell him to wear socks. No, he's fine with unprompted touch because I just, I would just grab him. And I feel like that kind of, questioning, would allow the parents to just gloss over it, and then they would report no, and then they would miss out on a diagnosis. And I feel like with having that kind of I feel like the style and the approach is so Western and Anglo-Saxon, and I feel like it's because it stems with all of the research being done on white males, right? I feel like it just needs to change, because I think a lot of kids are not finding out they're neurodivergent. I mean, I didn't find out I was neurodivergent until way later, till literally I was 25 years old. So yeah, I just thought about that.
This one's for all the autistic people. What eye color do you prefer? Did you say brown? Because me too. Let me explain. A few months ago now, I was watching a documentary about autism in women with my mum, and a woman was talking about obviously eye contact, and she was saying that it's easier for her to hold eye contact with brown eyes than blue eyes. And my mum instantly turned to me because she knows I love brown eyes but hate blue eyes. And I was like, oh my god, yeah. It is easier to hold eye contact with brown eyes than blue. And suddenly, now, this thing that I didn't think was linked to autism was now linked to autism. Most of my exes have brown eyes. Most of my past crushes have brown eyes. My celebrity crushes have brown eyes. Autism, yeah!
Oi, go. Oi, more passion, more passion, more passion, more energy, more footwork.
Friendly reminder that if you think self-diagnosis is taking away resources from actually autistic people, you're already overestimating the amount of resources going to actually autistic people. And even when those resources are there, self-diagnosed people do not get access to them. Why? Because they don't have professional diagnosis. Self-diagnosis with autism is also recognized by the World Health Organization. They even classify autism as usually self-diagnosable. This is because 90% of people who go in seeking professional diagnosis wind up being autistic. It is far more rare to be wrong about self-diagnosis with autism than it is to be correct about it. And with many autistic people living in states that are attempting to take away their bodily autonomy, there is a reason why a lot of people are turning to self-diagnosis at the moment, especially a lot of trans autistic people. So don't shit on self-diagnosis. Also support trans autistic people because they need our support right now.